In these videos, I often pick one option for each type, but as always, there are many options, so feel free to leave what you think each type's kryptonite is down below in the comments. I do always enjoy reading them, not least because I can steal those ideas and use them in future videos. ESTPs. Subservience. It takes courage to not laugh at your boss's joke, especially if it is funny. There's no way around it. ESTPs don't like being told what to do. One of the reasons they so often rise through power hierarchies is more to avoid not having to answer to someone than it is out of a desire to be in charge. ISTPs. Reliance. Freedom comes from strength and self-reliance. Being trapped in situations where they are reliant on others, are lacking independence, and are being tied down, not in the fun way, is kind of hell for ISTPs. They're not going to shirk their duties, but ideally, they don't want people reliant on them, or to be reliant on other people. INFJs. Lacking meaning. A classic is a book that is never finished, saying what it has to say. INFJs are like little Viktor Frankls on a constant search for meaning, purpose, and significance in the things they do. Superficial, shallow, and surface-level things drain INFJs of their lifeblood. ENFJs. Self-care. A tree that refuses water and sunlight for itself can't bear fruit for others. If you put yourself first, then the people in your life will be better off if you put them second than they would have been if you put them first. Yeah, you know what I mean. ENTPs. Boredom. Boredom always precedes a period of great creativity. If you want to see the most crazy, risk-taking, and wild version of an ENTP, then put them in a long-term, inescapably boring situation. Then sit back, at a safe distance, and watch the chaos. INTPs. Ignorance. We kill all the caterpillars, then complain that there are no butterflies. When someone is ignorant and possessed of a determined stupor, it's impossible for INTPs to do anything with them. It nullifies all of their strengths when it comes to questioning and interrogating things. Also for INTPs, ignorance is totally unacceptable from themselves as well. ISFJs. Being directionless. Lack of direction, not a lack of time, is the problem. We all have 24-hour days. If ISFJs don't have a direction in life, things can derail very quickly. They need structure, routine, and the ability to develop habits that cohesively connect because they are unified by the role or direction they have in life. Sometimes ISFJs take the slow and steady approach, so it's important for them to be on the right path. ESFJs. Isolation. Being alone never felt right. Sometimes it felt good, but it never felt right. ESFJs are energized by relationships and connections, so when they are deprived of these things, it can be difficult. ESFJs, like every type, need their introverted time and solitude, but ultimately socializing, connecting with, entertaining, and giving good experiences to people is a big part of what they desire in life. ENTJs. Slowness. Patience is the art of concealing your impatience. ENTJs need to make things happen, to drive forward in life, with a sometimes ruthless intensity. But when there are pointless distractions, roadblocks, red tape, and just slowness, it drives them nuts, and they can sometimes overcompensate and push too hard in those moments, both on other people, but also themselves too. INTJs. Purposelessness. A man without a purpose is like a ship without a rudder. INTJs need something to orient themselves towards, not just because of their naturally planful and strategic nature, but because purpose, be that divinely inspired or born out of existentially nihilistic self-creation, is their fuel in life. ISFPs. Emotional suppression. What he feared most was that all this hiding had made it impossible for him to ever be found again. When ISFPs are in situations where they have to do the emotional equivalent of biting their tongue, so biting their heart, it doesn't go well. Having to bottle things up will result in them spilling over much more intensely down the line. So for ISFPs, it's always something best avoided. ESFPs. Restraint. Sometimes our power resides not in what we do, but in what we don't do. ESFPs burn bright and live more intensely than most, but sometimes it is difficult for them to take their foot off the gas and hold back. Restraint can sometimes be a challenge. Then again, in their minds, it's better to be too much than not enough. ENFPs. Monotony. I feel monotony and death to be almost the same. Repetition is inevitable in life, but ENFPs, even when needing to do the same tasks over and over, will find a way to do them differently each time, even if it's just in small and subtle ways. Their lust for exploration and novelty must be satisfied. When it is hampered or even discouraged, they won't feel like themselves. INFPs. Aggression. What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness. INFPs are acutely aware of their own feelings, but imposing those feelings, or their will, on others is something that they don't do, even at times where perhaps they should. Being on the receiving end of someone else's aggression, or worse, seeing someone else on the receiving end of unnecessary force, is deeply off-putting to them. ISTJs. Disorder. I don't want to rule the universe, I just think it could be more sensibly organised. ISTJs like things to be in their right place, not simply for the sake of it, but because that's how things typically work best. When things are chaotic, random, and disordered, it can be very unnerving for ISTJs. They want to be in control of their environment as much as possible. ESTJs. Redundancy. Not that I have anything against redundancy, but I said that already. If something, or someone, for that matter, doesn't have a function in the life of an ESTJ, it most likely won't last very long. They're fans of form and style, and will happily indulge in those things, but functionality, for them, is non-negotiable. As was brought to my attention recently, I haven't overtly promoted the Love Who Discord server in a video for a while, so feel free to join using the link below if you want to talk to some interesting and wonderful people, and failing that, you can just talk to me instead. Also, while you're down there, feel free to like and subscribe if you haven't already as well.